Hello and welcome back to the garden. In this video I'm going to be sowing 4 varieties of Cosmos seeds and sharing with you some of our tips for success. Cosmos is one of our favourites, and it's one of those plants that when it starts to flower it goes on giving its all the way till the first frosts. So you really do get a really good plant that gives you lots and lots of flower power. It's also a really good plant for cutting and bringing into your home. It does last quite a while in water, which makes it brilliant because you can enjoy it in the garden, but you can also enjoy it in the house, which is fantastic. I'm going to be growing 4 different types of Cosmos this year, and they're all varieties I've never grown before, so I'm really pushing the boat out. Last year we grew a beautiful one called Cupcake's Blush, and that had this beautiful whitey cream with a hint of pink and a bit of a frilly middle bit, and those were fantastic. Absolutely great in terms of flowering, in terms of growth, and we really enjoyed having them in the garden. But this year we thought we'd try something completely different and have a big range of varieties, some quite low growing and some taller ones. The first one I'm going to start off with is a bright orange Cosmos. Now, I didn't even realise you could get orange Cosmos, so when I saw this seed packet front I was absolutely bowled over. It looks fantastic, lovely and vibrant, lovely and cheerful. Now this one is called Mandarin, obviously by the colour of the flowers, and this is quite a shortish growing variety, so it grows around 45 centimetres tall. So we're going to start off with this one. Now I've got my seed trays prepared. So I've just got a 20 module seed tray that I'm using here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to split 2 varieties in each seed tray, so I don't want to grow too many. And this is such an exciting moment. I mean, that orange is just fantastic, absolutely vibrant. It says flowering from June to October, which is a really long flowering period, and all Cosmoses do that. Once they do get going, they will flower all the way into the frost. All of these Cosmos I'm going to be growing today are half hardy annuals, which means they will need protection. So these will be sown today, they'll be germinated indoors and then grown on, separated out into larger pots, and then we'll bring them outside, harden them off, and then they will go into the garden once the risk of frost has passed. We're in the northwest, and that for us means around the late period of May when we're free from frost. So these are really nice large seeds, and they're really easy to handle. They're quite thin and very long. Quite unusual seed really. So we're going to get sowing. So I'm just going to place one of these in each of these modules. They are quite long, which is quite a contrast to a lot of the other seeds that we've sown so far, which have been round. So these are quite fascinating in terms of seeds. And if you do watch the channel regularly, you'll know that I am fascinated by seeds and propagation and sowing. So that's the last one. So I'm going to put the first label at the beginning of that tray there, and then the next one I'm going to sow will be from that point onwards there, just so I know where I am. I'm going to pop them back in the packet because they can be sown at a later date. And then, as usual, we always use vermiculite to cover seeds, so I'm just going to put a sprinkling of that over the top. Then we can give them a press down, making sure the seed is in contact with the compost below. The next variety I've chosen is a beautiful soft lemon, and it's called Xanthos, and this is a beautiful one as well. This is a little bit taller than the Mandarin, so this is 60 centimeters tall. So both of these varieties so far would be suitable for pots, which is where I intend to grow them. And I mean, just look at the colour. I mean, that colour is just so beautiful. Lovely pale lemon. So this is called Xanthos. And again, I'm going to use the same module tray and just finish the rest of it now with this one. So the seeds for this are again quite thin, but not as long. They're quite short, these ones. So I'm just going to place one into each of these modules that's remaining in this tray. And you do get a good quantity of seeds in these seed packets, which is great because it will last, particularly for this year, definitely. And probably for another couple of years ahead. So that's all those sown. And then again, I'm just going to get some vermiculite and just cover those seeds over the top with this. And then again, press them down. And that's the first two varieties sown. So that's Mandarin, the beautiful orange, and also Xanthos, which is that beautiful soft lemon colour. And then on to the next tray. So next we have a nice deep red colour. And this also took our fancy because it is quite different. It's quite a double flower, so it's got lots and lots of petals. And this one is called Double Click Cranberries. So that's a beautiful name, isn't it? Lovely colour. And this one grows between 90 to 120 centimetres. So this one would also be suitable for your borders, towards maybe the middle of your borders, or the front middle. And the other ones either grown in containers or towards the front of your border. And this one, it looks absolutely fantastic. So out of all the ones we're going to grow this year, I think this is going to be my favourite. I do prefer the taller varieties, and I do like these dark red burgundy kind of colours. It's a good idea when you do get foil envelopes like this with seeds in it, just give it a bit of a wiggle to make sure you're not getting any seeds trapped in the top. I know I can feel some there. Just be careful because you don't want to be losing any of your precious seeds. And same again, so I'm just planting one in each module. And again, I'm using half this tray for this variety and half for the final one that I'm going to be sowing today. So that's all them. And then vermiculite for the top. Give them a press down. And then the next one is a Cosmos called Antiquity. And this is a lovely colour, pinkish colour with a nice open centre. As you can see, the bees are going to love this one. And this one grows again to a height of 60 centimetres. So again, quite a shortish one, good for the front of the border or for containers. So this is like a rich burgundy, it says here, opening to change to an antique bronze salmon when aging, creating an attractive two-toned effect. So that's beautiful. Very floriferous, it says there, which is what we want. So let's get these ones sewn. Now I don't think these are in a full container, so I'm just trying to manoeuvre them down a little bit so when I open the bag it's not going to pop out. Lovely seeds. So let's get these sewn. And then cover them over with the vermiculite. Now that's all the seeds sown for today, and what we're going to do with these is we'll place these in a tray, and in that tray we'll put some water, and then these can then be placed in the tray and the water will be drawn up through the bottom and these will get thoroughly soaked. And then once you can see, vermiculite's a really good medium to put over the top, because when you put these in the tray of water, this like pale brown substance will start to turn a bit darker. And when you just touch it with your hands, you'll be able to feel the moisture. And at that point you know that this has been thoroughly wet and can be taken out. These are going to be placed indoors, like I've already mentioned, and they will not be coming out into the garden until it's time for hardening them off. So that's beginning of May. And then by the time the end of May comes, we should be free of frost, in which case they can be planted outside. Remember, these are half hardy annuals, so they do need protection. They will not survive any frost. In terms of growing cosmos generally, they do need a very good sunny position to grow. Ideally somewhere as much sun as you can offer them. They do like the sun, and if you can give them free draining soil, that is fantastic. That's what they want. They don't want to sit in water. Too moist of soil and they'll just end up rotting. Not enough sun and they'll end up not flowering very well. So a nice open sunny location with good free draining soil. When these grow a few sets of leaves, you can then nip out the top, and that just means that you just take out with your finger and thumb or with some cutters or secateurs the top part of the plant. And that may sound drastic, but what you're doing is you're allowing all the side shoots to grow, and that essentially makes a bushier plant. And when we get a bushier plant, each one of those side shoots that grow will be bearing flowers on the stems that they're growing from. So that's what we want. We want more flowers, bushier plant, and we do that just by simply nipping out the top. Cosmos are great grown in containers. We just use a multi-purpose compost in a container, and then we feed using comfrey feed, which is high in potassium, to keep the flowers coming. They are great for cut flowers. They will last a long time in a vase, and the more you cut, the more you get. So a little bit like sweet peas, you're not going to be diminishing your garden by picking these flowers. Do not feel any remorse whatsoever, because these are really good for cut flowers in the house, and by doing the action of cutting them off, it does mean that you're going to help to get more flowers as well. Make sure you take off any of the dead heads, because that will also stop the plants from producing seed, which is, you may want to do that later on towards mid to late summer, because you're going to be collecting the seed from these. But from the time being, during the early part of the growing season, you want to be making sure you're dead head, because you don't want the energy being wasted going into seed production when what you want is more and more flowers. Some of the taller varieties will need to be staked, and you can do that using a variety of means. You can use little rings that you go around the plant, little metal rings, supports. You can use canes and you can use string. Any kind of method of making sure that the plant is well supported, because when you get these plants, they get quite bushy and they can have an issue with regards to the weight and toppling over. And this is particularly the case with some of the taller varieties. The one we grew last year, which was Cupcakes Blush, that did need to be staked a little bit, so we just used some canes to support the plants. Now I'm sure with all these varieties that we're sowing today, they're going to produce some beautiful mixes of flowers, and that is wonderful for us because we do like our colour, we do like our flowers. And if you want to grow plants where your neighbours and people that visit the house are going to be saying, what's that flower? What is that? That's beautiful. Some of these Cosmos seeds are going to produce the wow factor. So you're going to get lots and lots of compliments and lots of people saying, what's that flower? And that's great, because then you can pass on your knowledge. And if you do let these go to seed towards the end of the year, you could collect some of that seed and then pass that on to the people that are inquiring about how beautiful these are. That's what gardening is all about. Enjoying your garden and sharing that space and sharing your plants with others who are also interested, and passing on that enthusiasm for plants and letting other people get infused by you and infused by what they're growing. Thank you so much for watching this video about sowing our Cosmos seeds. I'm really happy. We've got 4 varieties we've never grown before, and we're really excited to see how they develop. So continue to watch the channel and we will give you regular updates of how these are going and how they're getting on. If you found this video informative and enjoyable, please give us a like. Please subscribe. Subscribing doesn't cost a penny, it's completely free. And if you do have any comments, please drop them in the comments box below the video. We will see you very soon on the next one. In the meantime, please do take care and enjoy your seed sowing.